Good morning, Year 10. So I'm recording this video for you this morning so that you can work through at your own pace to find the volumes of 3D shapes linked to circles. There are three formulas that you need to know, and I'd like you please to write these down before you go any further so you've got them to refer to throughout the work that I'll be asking you to do after watching this video. First of all, we're going to find the volume of a cylinder. Now, a cylinder is a prism that has a circle on the end. So a prism is any shape that has what we call a constant cross-section. So the same shape all the way through, and then it has some length as well. The volume of a prism is the area of the cross-section multiplied by the length. So for a cylinder, which is just a circular-ended prism, we need the area of the cross-section, which is pi r squared, because that's the area of a circle, multiplied by the length of the prism. So that's your first formula. Volume of a cylinder is pi r squared L. The second one is the volume of a cone. Now, a cone is a pyramid which has a circle on the base. The formula for the volume of a pyramid is 1/3 times by the area of the base times by the height. So for a cone, the area of the base is pi r squared, and then multiply that by the height of the pyramid. So the volume of a cone is 1/3 pi r squared h. Lastly, volume of a sphere. Now the formula for the volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. So I can't draw a sphere very well, but obviously the radius of a sphere is the length from the centre of the sphere to the outer edge of the sphere, the face. And they're your three formulas. So please make sure you have those copied down and then continue with this video. The first two examples I have for you are concerning the volume of a cylinder. So relating back to the previous slide, the formula for the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared, so the area of the circle, multiplied by the length, or the height as it's referred to in this question. So our formula volume is pi r squared h. And all we need to do now is just substitute the values into it. So for this cylinder, we want pi multiplied by radius squared, so 2 squared, multiplied by the height. If we simplify that, 2 squared is 4. Multiply 4 by 5, we get 20. So 20 pi would be the exact value, or the value in terms of pi. And if we want that as a decimal, then you can pop it in your calculator to get 62.8 centimetres cubed, and that's rounded to 3 significant figures. So that's the first example, volume of a cylinder, pi r squared times by the height or the length. The second example again is volume of a cylinder, but we've been given some slightly different information this time. We've been given the diameter, which is 8 centimetres, but the formula for the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h, so we need to know the radius. If the diameter is 8, the radius is 4. So to calculate the volume of this cylinder, we want pi times by radius squared, so 4 squared, times by the height or the length, which is 10. Simplifying that, 4 squared is 16. 16 times 10 is 160. So my answer is 160 pi, don't forget the units, centimetres cubed. This question wants the answer in terms of pi, so that's it. That's all I need to do for that one. Leave it in that form. The next two examples are for cones. The formula for the volume of a cone is 1/3 area of base, so 1/3 pi r squared, times by the height. So for this cone, we want 1/3 times by pi times by the radius squared, and the radius there is 5, times by the height, which is 9. I'm going to simplify this first. So 1/3 times by pi, 5 squared is 25, and 25 times by 9 is 225, and then I'd like 1/3 of that, which is 75. Now you can do this in any order. You can also just stick it straight in your calculator. If you want the exact value, then you'd leave it as 75 pi. If you want it as a decimal, then you pop it in your calculator, and that's 236 to 3 significant figures, and the units again are centimetres cubed. So again, the formula for the volume of a cone, 1/3 pi r squared h. Here's the second example for volume of a cone, and there's no diagram with this one, so I'm going to start by sketching it. The cone has a base diameter of 18 centimetres. So diameter is 18. The height of the cone is 20 centimetres, so I can mark that on there. The volume of a cone, as we said before, is 1/3 pi r squared h, so I need to know the radius. If the diameter is 18, the radius is 9, and now I can substitute all the values in. 1/3 times pi times by radius squared times by height. You can work it out in your head, or I could type into my calculator 9 squared times by 20 times by 1/3, or divide by 3. That's 540, and then I need the pi in there as well, 540 pi. And again, this question asked me to leave my answer in terms of pi, so that's what I'm doing, but I will put my units on the end, which is centimetres cubed. The last two examples are for spheres. So the volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. So all I need to know for this one is the radius. For this sphere, I've been given the radius in the question is 2 centimetres. So now to calculate the volume of this sphere, I need 4/3 times by pi times by radius, which is 2 cubed. Pop that in your calculator. 2 cubed is 8, multiplied by 4/3. Now as an exact value, that's 32/3. That's 4/3 times by 2 cubed, and then we need pi. But this question asked me to give my answer to 1 decimal place. So again, I'm just going to do that on my calculator, and that's 33.5 centimetres cubed. Do always read the question so you know what form you're leaving your answer in. If it doesn't say, then it's fine, you can choose. If it does say, you must always leave it in the correct form. The final example again is finding the volume of a sphere. In this case, I've been given the diameter, which is 6, but the formula for the volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. So I need half the diameter to get the radius, which is 3 centimetres. And this time I want my answer in terms of pi. I start off exactly the same, substitute my radius into it. So 4/3 times by pi times by my radius cubed. 3 cubed is 27. 4/3 of that is 36. So my answer is 36 pi. And again, you can do that on your calculator, but make sure you give your answer in the format requested, which is in terms of pi. And then always name my units on the end, centimetres cubed. So finally, here are those 3 formulas again. Volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h, or pi r squared L, depending whether you're calling it the height or the length. It's all the same thing. Volume of a cone is 1/3 pi r squared h. And volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. Please now have a go at the work, and if you need any help at all, please get in touch with me via email or a Show My Homework message.